Hello everyone, hi. This video is gonna be a little different and more personal than the videos I usually upload to this channel because there has been a lot going on behind the scenes that I want to update you on because it will affect the work that I'll be able to do here with Strange Lucidity going forward. So consider this a channel update in 3 parts. I first want to take some time and talk about how I've been running Strange Lucidity over the past 3 years, and I specifically want to focus on what that looks like financially. In part 2 of the video, I want to talk about what's coming in my life in the near future, because I actually got a job at university. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how that conspired and what that means for my ability to keep making videos here. And at the end of the video for part 3, I'm going to talk about the fact that I'm moving. So let's get into the video. Okay, part 1. So this summer, 2026, marks 3 years of me running the YouTube channel Strange Lucidity. I've started the channel when I've started studying literature, and by some coincidence and magic, one of my very first videos took off in the algorithm and brought in a viewership to this channel that has since grown to over 40,000 subscribers. It's been amazing to have so many people cheer me on in my studies, but also engage with literature in such an earnest way. I truly feel like my audience consists of the kindest, most thoughtful people on the internet. I truly have loved and still love making these videos, answering your emails, doing meetups, reading your comments, coming up with interesting video ideas and doing research, and just become better at what I'm doing in general, right? Better at producing different formats. I mean, I've truly learned so much over those past 3 years. I hope it goes without saying that I appreciate you, the viewers of this channel, so much, and none of the changes that are on the horizon for me are because I don't like what I'm doing here anymore. Quite the opposite, actually. So that is all great, and when I look back over those past 3 years, those are the things that really stand out to me. I'm so glad that I could cultivate an audience here through doing videos that I genuinely love and researching things that I just enjoy making videos out of. Like, this is so amazing and it's my dream job and like everything is great. Anyways, the one thing that doesn't add up with this work here on YouTube, and I want to be honest about that too, is the money. I've really been racking my brain over the past years about how to make my work online sustainable while also having integrity and not selling out to the algorithm or selling you things you don't need. And that has worked out so, I would say. To give you some specifics, at this point I'm working around 3 days a week on YouTube and Patreon. That includes planning, scripting, filming, editing, answering emails, research, and bookkeeping. And from that, I usually get between 300 and 400 euros a month in a good month. That's a pretty good estimation of what the average workload and income has looked like over the past years. I make around $3 per 1,000 views on YouTube, and I've made a total of $4,300 from YouTube over those past 3 years. That averages out to about $138 per month. From my courses on Teachable, I've made about $7,500, and about $2,500 came in from Coffee and Patreon. That makes a total of about $13,000, And when you then subtract big expenses like platform fees, transaction fees, editing software, equipment, and some people that I paid for editing help from time to time, you end up with maybe 10,000 US dollars, and divided by 36 months, that turns out to be 277 US dollars a month, or around 240 euros. So if you've been a long-term viewer of this channel, you've seen me over the years open a coffee, selling courses on Teachable, and now opening a Patreon. And I know that there are people out there who have a problem with that. In fact, every time I announce a course or a Patreon or something like that, I lose a noticeable amount of subscribers. And I get that to an extent. I used to be a YouTube viewer before I was a YouTube creator, and I also didn't like it when people put content behind a paywall. But I hope transparently showing you what the earnings look like on the other side, you at least understand why creators do it. If I wouldn't have released my courses or opened my Patreon, etc., I wouldn't have had those extra sources of income, and the channel would have had to stop probably 2 years ago. Now, I have been able to sustain myself over those past 3 years, so I call that a win, but it's really only possible because I get a stipend for studying that covers a big part of my monthly expenses. And other than that, I'm just smart with money, and I had a buffer from working before I started studying. But even with all that, this work is just not sustainable financially, and I would have to make kind of at least 4 times what I'm making now in order to get to a point where I can keep justifying the hours that I put into making these videos, especially in this economy. I saw in the news the other day that the poverty line in Austria is currently 1,800 euros. And with my stipend and the money I'm making from Strange Lucidity, I'm just not getting near that. Now, I know that a lot of people are struggling at the moment, and the whole economy being down has obviously not made things better. People just have less money at the moment to buy a course or support someone on Patreon, and I get it, me too. And with the tariff scares, a lot of companies put less money into marketing, so I get less money for the ads that are played on YouTube before you watch one of my videos. Not to mention all of the AI videos that are flooding YouTube and that are taking viewers away from other channels. I mean, there's a lot that I'm not gonna go into in this video, but suffice to say, it really is the Wild West over here, and it's unstable work, to say the least. So thank you for sitting through that with me. I know a lot of people find it uncomfortable to talk about money, but I always wish everyone would be a little bit more transparent about it. And really, the last thing I want to say before I move on to point number 2 is, if you are watching creators that don't do sponsorships and they're providing good information and high quality videos, and you care about their work and you care about them being able to continue what they're doing, support them financially if you can. Know that they're probably making very little money, and the reason they have a Patreon or courses or whatever it is because they have no other choice if they want to continue to provide content for free on YouTube. They're being actively punished by the YouTube platform for prioritizing education over sensation, because in case you haven't noticed yet, mouth gaping thumbnails and oh my gosh, I bought 100 books. Book hauls do much better than a deep, close reading of a text. And just in general, if creators ever do the very normal and human thing that is taking a break, whether it is because they're sick or they just deserve to get some rest from time to time, the channel is always taking a hit. Those creators are probably turning down sponsorships every day. I have hundreds of them in my inbox, so your contribution, even if it is just €1 a month, will mean the absolute world to them. I can promise you that. And it goes without saying that if you have ever purchased one of my courses or you have supported me on Ko-fi or Patreon, you are quite literally the reason that I am still sitting here making those videos week to week. It is as simple as that, and I don't take that lightly. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I will forever appreciate it, no matter where this crazy journey is going. I'm so grateful I've had the opportunity to do this YouTube channel over the past 3 years, which has now, segue, brought a truly wonderful opportunity on my path that I wanna tell you about as well. So, part 2, the exciting changes that are coming up in my life. Plot twist of the year, honestly, for me. I'm gonna start working at the Department of Comparative Literature in Vienna. A lot has conspired over the past months, but essentially what happened is that I showed my YouTube channel to a professor of mine who was very enthusiastic about the work that I'm doing here on this channel. And he asked me whether I would like to... I'm so excited I can't even talk about it. He invited me to talk about what I'm doing in his introductory lecture to comparative literature. So every year he gives this series of lectures on comparative literature for new students, and one of the lectures focuses on literary mediation, which basically means how do people find the books that they're reading, who's the middleman between the text and the reader, you know, kind of what I'm doing here with this channel. You could call that literary mediation, but also what literary salons or newspapers have done a lot in the past. All of that is literary mediation. And I have experience with doing that in the 21st century. So he said he'd like me to speak on that a little bit, which led me to now actually taking over the entire 1.5-hour lecture on literary mediation. So that will be going on in autumn. And I'm so ready to start my research on that and put together what I think and hope will be an interesting run through the history of literary mediation. Now, that professor also encouraged me to apply as a tutor for his course, which I did, and I got the job. So I will also work for 5 hours a week next semester, tutoring first-year students on comparative literature. I'm gonna help them understand the contents of the courses. I'll answer their questions, help them prep for the exams, and just generally take them under my wing a little bit, which I'm so excited to do because I feel like it has just been yesterday that I have been one of those first-year students in the lecture hall, like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, trying to figure out how all of this works. Now, as if all of that wouldn't be exciting enough already and enough of a change and a challenge and all of that, there's actually more. Only a few days after I got the notification that I'm accepted as a tutor, I found another email in my inbox by the leader of the Department of Comparative Literature in Vienna. She was made aware of my application and the work I do on YouTube, and she asked me whether I would like to essentially triple my hours because they are looking to build a YouTube channel for the department, and they thought I would be the perfect person to help do that. Now, I could not believe that. Obviously, I had like a little mini heart attack, but I answered her immediately. I said, the project sounds amazing. We called the same day and got everything rolling. There is a little bit of funding. I have already signed my work contract. I've had my first meeting with the team. I'm currently figuring out what kind of equipment we're still gonna need to buy. It's like happening. It's happening already. And there's so much more that I could say about that entire project. I'm gonna like keep you in the loop a little bit in the future, and obviously you're gonna see the channel. I'm putting it together at the moment. It's probably gonna be in German, but still. It's gonna be like a podcast interview style where we just invite interesting people that are loosely connected to the Department of Comparative Literature and like have conversations about books, analyze them, but it's really important for us that it's not like super dry and academic, but that it's like approachable and that it is also a way for new students to find us and to become aware that comparative literature is a thing. So, as you can imagine, this university offer is such a blessing. Not only does it take care of the financial question for now, I'll be mostly in the clear for the next 6 to 12 months, but it's also a job that I'm super interested in and that will give me great opportunities to get to know people and open doors for the future, I think. And I'll be part of this really cool department with all of these interesting, intelligent people, and I'll be able to continue learning more about literature, because that's just always my number one goal, to spend as many of my waking hours as possible researching and reading and making literature available to people. And I guess that will take many forms in my life. I really feel like the stars aligned in this really unexpected way, and it's just unreal that my YouTube channel, my little baby, pays off and opens doors in those super unexpected way for people to find me. Now, you can imagine what that will mean for my Strange Lucidity work. I will essentially need to free up at least 2 days a week in my schedule for this new work. So I will have to go way down with my output for Strange Lucidity. I'm currently uploading a podcast or a bonus video every week on Patreon, and then a YouTube video every other week. And I'll need to cut like 80% of that. My idea right now is to keep uploading a YouTube video once a month, and then hopefully I'll be able to also upload a podcast for Patreon once a month. But to be honest, so many things are up in the air at the moment that I just can't, in good conscience, promise anything. I promise I won't disappear from YouTube, like this is not the last video of mine that you're gonna see, but between starting my bachelor's thesis, moving, those 2 new jobs where I'm just gonna need to figure out a lot of things, and my exams that are coming up in 2 weeks, because lest we forget, I'm actually first and foremost a full-time student. I just don't know yet what I'll be able to do. My Patreon will stay up, and I have created a cheaper tier, so you can join for €2 a month now. And you can obviously listen to the 14 or 15 podcast episodes that are up now and the handful of bonus videos. It's just that the drip of new content will be a little bit slower. That was not my intention, obviously, when I started the Patreon, that I'm then gonna need to slow it down after only 4 months. And it's scary to loosen the grip on Strange Lucidity. As I said, this channel and everything I do with it is really my baby, and I have tended to it come hell or high water over the past 3 years. I've prioritized it over almost everything else in my life. And the thought of reverting it back to more of a hobby is obviously scary to me. But I think it will also bring a chance to see with new eyes for me, because if I don't have to make it work financially, like if that aspect is just not in the picture at all, that will also give me the freedom to just truly do what I love. Even though I've tried to do that mostly anyways, but I don't know, I'm feeling like a fresh wind. So again, I won't be gone entirely. I'm probably gonna film what I've learned in my 3rd year of studying literature next, and I have many other video ideas. I really want to make a video about The Man Without Qualities. I've just this morning finished part 1. This book is driving me crazy, but I cannot wait to make a really good and long video about it. But yeah, I think that's it for point 2. And then for the last update, I'm moving. That has been a really hard decision for me to make. I love this apartment. I have truly become who I am in this apartment. I've put so much love into it, and it is not least of all the place in which I have filmed all of my YouTube videos over the past 3 years. So it's not a decision that I've been taking lightly, but partly because there's someone with whom I've been wanting to move in with for a while, and also due to financial reasons. It's happening now. I might be able to film one more video here, which is so sad because this background is just perfect. I've tinkered with it so much over the past years, and I've perfected it, and I feel like there's a good 5% of you out there who only watch me because of my background. However, here's some tea for you if you're still here at the end of this video. If you are on the booktubes, you might not have to miss this background entirely. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm also not moving very far. I'm not leaving the city or anything, so it's a relatively uncomplicated move, which will happen over the next 4 weeks or so. So, thank you so much for being here with me on this crazy ride. It's all great changes. I'm really excited. It's just a bit overwhelming how fast it's all going, and I've been feeling for the past weeks like, oh my gosh, I need to update the YouTube audience. So thank you again. I'll see you soon, probably one more time here, and then in the next chapter. Bye bye.